This is arguably the boldest statement we have ever made. Stop watching the news. Some of you may have found yourselves caught in the crossfire of conflicting advice, with some voices urging you to stop watching the news, while others insist it's an essential part of staying informed. It's a dilemma many of us can't seem to wrap our heads around. After all, how can we keep up with the world if we tune out the daily updates? In today's video, we'll be presenting 5 reasons why you might want to consider taking a break from the news. We understand that some of you may disagree, but before you dismiss the notion, allow us a few minutes to share our perspective. Make sure to stick around until the end because our 5th point is the main reason why we believe a shift in our approach to news consumption could be beneficial. So without further delay, let's dive right in. Reason number 1, news is mostly irrelevant. Modern news often falls short in its potential to genuinely improve our lives or help us make better choices. 2 major culprits in this regard are sensationalism and a constant 24-hour news cycle. Sensationalism means news outlets prioritize attention-grabbing stories with emotional appeal rather than focusing on what truly matters. This can make news more about entertainment rather than providing valuable information for our daily lives. The 24-hour news cycle also exacerbates the problem by creating a constant demand for new information. This rush often results in hastily reported stories that lack the necessary depth and analysis. It's an ongoing struggle against time where speed frequently takes precedence over accuracy, potentially amplifying sensationalism and facilitating the spread of misinformation. Consequently, news becomes a never-ending stream of updates without offering the insights needed to make informed decisions. As a consequence of these trends, news can feel overwhelming and disconnected from the real issues that are truly relevant to our lives. Instead of being a reliable source of useful information, it becomes more like a constant flow of superficial updates. To navigate this, it's essential to approach news with a critical mindset and seek out sources that prioritize substance over sensationalism and depth over the constant need for new content. This way, we can better understand the world around us and make more informed choices. Number 2, it's a waste of your time. Researchers estimate that Americans spend approximately 70 minutes a day checking the news. Let's do some calculations here. If a person spends 1 hour and 10 minutes watching the news every day, it equals them spending roughly 8 hours watching the news per week, 35 hours per month, and 425 hours per year on the news. In the age of the internet, there is a strong emphasis on generating clicks and views for online content. This can result in the creation of sensational headlines or the prioritization of stories that generate more traffic even if they are not the most important or relevant. Moreover, coverage of celebrity events and gossip often takes up a significant portion of news media. While these stories may be entertaining, they often lack relevance to broader societal issues, serving as distractions rather than providing meaningful information. Imagine spending 425 hours every year watching news of little importance or lacking relevance to our daily lives when you could have put this time to much greater use, such as pursuing a hobby, starting a side business, or engaging in regular workouts for better health. Hence, it comes as no surprise that many people question the ability of news to offer actionable information for individuals to improve their lives. Instead of empowering viewers with insights to make informed decisions, news consumption can turn into a passive experience, leaving audiences without practical takeaways. Hey, do you agree with what we've shared with you so far? If you love what you're watching, hit the subscribe button so that more people can discover our channel. However, if you have different thoughts or opinions, we would love to hear what you think. please leave a comment down below. The third reason why we believe you should reconsider before watching the news is that it can be bad for your health, both physically and mentally. According to Rolf Dobelli, a Swiss author and entrepreneur who discussed this in a TED Talk, news is like sugar for our brains. It provides a quick feeling of pleasure, similar to how sugar affects our brains, but it does not truly nourish us. Continuous exposure to news, especially if it is filled with negative or distressing content, can contribute to heightened stress and anxiety levels. When individuals are exposed to distressing or alarming news content, their bodies may initiate a stress response, leading to the release of cortisol and adrenaline. Cortisol, often referred to as the stress hormone, is released in response to stress or perceived threats. Adrenaline, on the other hand, is known as the fight or flight hormone, also released in response to stress or danger. While both hormones serve to protect the body in extreme situations, elevated cortisol over prolonged periods and frequent adrenaline surges have been associated with various health issues, including disrupted sleep, impaired immune function, and cardiovascular problems. And to make things worse, news is designed to be addictive, making us want to keep coming back for more. Which brings us to point number 4. News thrives on drama. News outlets often operate under the mantra of if it bleeds, it leads, relying on a strategy of using fear and despondency to captivate viewers and ensure their continued engagement. This approach involves leveraging sensationalized or dramatic stories that tap into human curiosity, exploiting the tendency for individuals to be drawn to alarming content. This strategy, centered on fear and despondency, is employed to keep viewers tuned in and coming back for more. Moreover, the motivation behind this emphasis on drama is often rooted in profit. The news industry, driven by the maximization of viewership and advertising revenue, tends to prioritize events that create the most noise. This profit-centric approach can lead to a distortion of priorities, as the news may not accurately represent what is truly important. Instead, it gravitates towards whatever event generates the most attention, regardless of its actual significance. As a result, the news landscape becomes more about entertainment and revenue generation, rather than a genuine reflection of the critical issues that impact society. When the pursuit of sensationalism takes precedence over informative and balanced content, the audience may be left with a distorted perspective on current events, providing all the more reason for us to reconsider our news-watching habits. Now, as promised, we have arrived at the 5th reason, which is the primary explanation why we believe you should stop watching the news. Number 5. News is manipulative. Yes, the most significant issue with news is its manipulative nature. Media outlets often use various strategies to influence public opinion, highlighting specific narratives or downplaying others to shape how events are perceived. This manipulation is evident in framing, where the presentation of information subtly guides the audience's interpretation. For instance, news organizations, driven by various interests, may consciously or unconsciously manipulate news content to align with specific perspectives, ideologies, or agendas. This selectivity plays a role in influencing public discourse, potentially distorting the understanding of societal issues. The use of language, visuals, and tone in news reporting also significantly conveys implicit biases, reinforcing stereotypes or shaping public sentiment. Headlines and framing are crafted to evoke emotional responses, manipulating how the audience perceives events. This manipulation becomes particularly powerful in the age of social media, where news spreads quickly, often without careful fact-checking or thoughtful evaluation. Moreover, those in positions of power can easily influence the media to maintain or strengthen their control. The manipulation of news by governmental bodies or political groups is a typical example of this tactic. In reality, what reaches the public is only the tip of the iceberg. Behind-the-scenes discussions and secret deals often remain concealed, leaving the public with mere fragments instead of the complete picture. If you're interested in learning more about fascinating facts, check out our next video, exposing the scary facts behind sugar and food addiction, the Bliss Point, where we uncover the alarming truths behind the food industry. See ya!